times. They have to try to take down President Trump because they know he's going to beat them, and he's the only one that can beat them. He's the only one that threatens their corrupt power, and he's the only one who stands for the American people. And again, that's why they're going after him. He's the leader of the most powerful political movement in American history. He's standing in the way of them taking over this country and completely turning it into a communist hellhole. And President Trump's not going to let that happen. But that's why they go after him so viciously and lawlessly.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Taking the oath before Congress again.
Do you swear or
Michael Cohen insisting this time he's telling the truth.
I am here under oath to correct the record, to answer the committee's questions truthfully.
Oh, rim shot!
And to offer the American people what I know about President Trump.
Cohen now says he lied to Congress.
The disgusting, liberal, mainstream media have attempted to label Mr. Donald Trump a racist, a xenophobe, and a bigot. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist. Not only is Donald Trump not a racist, he believes that all people are part of one race, the human race. He is a racist.
Oh, that was your mother!
He is a con man, and he is a cheat. Says who? It's morally wrong to sit back and do nothing when someone who you know, someone who you hold in great esteem and truly care about is being so viciously attacked, day in and day out. I am ashamed.
I want to let you have an opportunity to respond to Donald Trump's disparagement of you, if you care to.
Well, I really don't care to, simply because it's just typical. It's typical Donald. But I like his allegations against me. And considering, just look at who the guy is.
And I've worked for Mr. Trump now for a long time, and I can tell you that Mr. Trump's memory is fantastic, and I've never come across a situation where Mr. Trump has said something that's not accurate.
There are... seriously?
Yes, seriously.
His racist rants, which we know are just every day, including the fact that he couldn't even mention George Floyd's name.
I want to express our nation's deepest condolences and most heartfelt sympathies to the family of George Floyd.
He couldn't even mention George Floyd's name at any point in time.
All Americans were rightly sickened and revolted by the brutal death of George Floyd. The death of George Floyd on the streets of Minneapolis was a grave tragedy.
So I wear it as a badge of honor. So thank you for that, Donald. I appreciate it.
Look, if I ever have a case and Michael Cohen's my key witness, just disbar me right away.
Let's talk about the Trump Organization, because you know that organization well. This is like a mom and pop organization, right? It's basically Trump, the kids, and Alan Weisselberg. Do I have that wrong?
Well, yeah, it's bigger than that, but you're right. It's a glorified mom and pop company. Trump, which is, again, part of his ongoing continuous lies, made allegations that he employed 10,000 people. Well, that's not true.
Hold it now, wait.
Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now.
You're right, Joy. It is a mom and pop organization.
Says who?
It is a mom and pop organization.
Mar-a-Lago is a 128-room mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, located on 20 acres of lush waterfront property. Donald Trump forked over $5 million for the property back in 1985. The resort is now estimated to be worth between $200 million and $300 million, thanks in large to Trump's luxurious taste and extensive renovations.
It's a glorified mom and pop company.
Today's about facts, not opinions. Born in New York's most iconic trophy buildings, 725 Fifth Avenue, Trump Tower. This 58-story building is comprised of 200,000 square feet of office space in the base, with the remainder being residential units in the tower of the building.
It is a mom and pop organization. It's a glorified mom and pop company. It's a glorified mom and pop company.
Trump International Scotland, a 5-star resort, ranked as one of the world's best links courses.
Sure looks like some more Trump derangement syndrome to me.
Given my experience working for Mr. Trump, I fear that if he loses the election in 2020, that there will never be a peaceful transition of power.
Senator President Trump back on Twitter tonight, tweeting out a message to all of America, saying that the peaceful transfer of power will take place January 20th.
You're saying, based on your knowledge of how he works, you're saying this is part of a plan. If he doesn't get what he wants out of the election results, he wants to push Barr to what?
To start indicting people, specifically, I guess, people working at the ballots. You will recall, Ari, that I said just over 19 months ago when I testified before the House Oversight Committee that there will never be a peaceful transition of power by Trump.
My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
I actually know Mr. Trump. And at the end of the day, there will never be a peaceful transition of power when he loses. He refuses to give up this power. He will not give up this power easily.
To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning.
How does this end with Donald Trump?
I was the first to say it, that there will never be a peaceful transition of power under Donald J. Trump.
We've had an amazing 4 years. We've accomplished a lot. We love the American people, and again, it has been something very special. And I just want to say goodbye, but hopefully it's not a long-term goodbye. We'll see each other again. Thank you all very much. Trump won, and you know it. Trump won, and you know it. The fake news will never show it, 'cause it's true. Trump won, and you know it. We got dead people voting, drop boxes and dominion. And facts are facts, it's not just my opinion.
But, for a quick second there, I just want to go back because, I think it's worth me saying when he's talking about my credibility. I personally think, and, I'll ask you your opinion on it, that my credibility is a lot more in demand than Trump's petty, pathetic temper tantrums, right, masquerading as strength.
I am ashamed of my weakness and my misplaced loyalty.
One-time defense attorney Robert Costello is expected again to testify this afternoon. A source familiar with Costello's information says he's prepared to testify that Michael Cohen is a liar, a convicted perjurer, and embellishes stories. That Michael Cohen was a fixer who said he could help take care of the money demands being made by Stormy Daniels to Trump, and that later Cohen, a lawyer himself, would ask Trump for reimbursement. That Cohen wanted to show he could get this done for Donald Trump and that he thought he would be well regarded and rewarded for his efforts.
It's very typical for a corrupt system of justice that has Trump derangement syndrome, which is exactly what is going on here.
There is only one set of laws in this country. What affects Rev you and I needs to affect somebody like Donald as well. No one is above the law. So if it was good enough for me to go, it should be good enough for him.
How is the former president not equally responsible?
Well, he actually pleaded guilty to a non-crime. There wasn't actually a crime if you look at the law.
Nothing here was spent out of the campaign. Nothing was done with the campaign or to the campaign. This is exactly what the federal law is. And Mr. Lanny Davis had his client plead guilty to 2 offenses that aren't offenses that the prosecutor insisted were offenses. That's why he's no good. That is Michael Cohen against Donald Trump. Donald Trump's in the clear. Let's say Donald Trump even directed Michael Cohen to make payments in non-disclosure agreements. So what? He's allowed to do that.
Because they had plenty of other stuff unrelated to President Trump on Michael Cohen that they could have gone after him, and that's why he did it. They don't have any evidence. And you know why I know that? The Mueller witch hunt, where they had 18 Democrats, scouring, $40 million, scouring everything in President Trump's life. They looked at this. They knew they couldn't bring any charges.
Bob Costello went in on Monday. He said that he had spoken to Michael Cohen. He's lied. He said that Michael Cohen was suicidal and was petrified to go to jail. Why is that important? Because that means he would say anything to get a plea deal.
Then he says separately, you did, he says, waive attorney-client privilege. Is that true?
That's another one. If in fact that I waived attorney-client privilege, I'd like to know when, how, where. I don't recall waiving anything.
The U.S. Attorney's Office called me up and said, Mr. Costello, we would like to talk to you about your representation of Michael Cohen. I laughed and said, can I presume you have a waiver of the attorney-client privilege? And they said, you presume correctly. I said, fine, send it over. I'll be delighted to talk to you.
I don't recall waiving anything, but again, this is I don't know what he's talking about.
Did you sign anything when you were dealing with SDNY like that?
Not that I recall, no.
All right,
Michael Cohen just thinks that he can go on TV, make these false statements, then go in the grand jury, continue those false statements, and get no repercussions. He apparently, I'm going to be kind right now, he apparently forgot that he waived the attorney-client privilege. In fact, I think it was during that show with Ari Melber that Michael Cohen said last night that he never signed a waiver of the attorney-client privilege. And obviously, you've got a copy right there. And I showed that copy on TV last night.
And told the grand jury today I was deputy chief of the criminal division of the U.S. Attorneys for the Southern District. I said I wouldn't touch a witness like Michael Cohen for any amount of money. You simply cannot rely upon this guy. And tonight, he was on another station denying that he waived the attorney-client privilege. Here it is, in writing, and that's his signature on the second page. So
that's unbelievable.
I guess he didn't know that, and the district attorney didn't know that.
Bob Costello, if he was any more imaginary in the statements that are coming out of his mouth, he'd be a #1 New York Times best-selling fiction author. I don't know what he's talking about in terms of signing anything with the Southern District of New York. I'd like to see it. Now, if in fact that there was something that was signed, perfect. I will own the fact that I'm making a mistake, but I don't recall signing anything.
But you don't remember that?
I do not.
They notified me that Michael Cohen had executed a waiver of the attorney-client privilege for reasons I have no idea. Frankly, it was a very stupid move by Michael Cohen, because now we're able to tell the truth about what Michael Cohen was saying at any point in time starting in April of 2018. So that's why I wanted to get those materials that I gave to the U.S. Attorney's Office and sat for a 2-hour interview with them back in 2019, after which, you may have noticed, the Southern District of New York didn't do any business with Michael Cohen. There's a reason for that. He's totally unreliable.
So I'm sitting at home watching these lies, and I said, I've got to do something about it. I don't represent Donald Trump, but I do stand for justice, and I think I have a legal obligation to inform both sides. So that's what I did.
It's just incredible that he would take a position like that. And he went to the DA's office 20 times by his own admission, and then to the grand jury twice. So that's 22 occasions in which he forgot to mention to the district attorney's office that he waived the attorney-client privilege. The district attorney's office was not aware of that until I told them, and then they asked me to send them a copy of it, which of course I did.
I mean, really, is this the kind of witness you want to ride to the finish line? Not in my book.
I think all they care about is the finish line. But
I am ashamed